Hi, I'm Riley Wilson for Guitar Made Simpler. What's the most efficient way to finger an A chord? You know, one everybody learns in first position early on. There's several different ways to do it. I'm going to show you the way that I have taught students for the last 20 years, both in my private lessons as well as through Guitar Made Simpler. If I can get a close-up on my left hand, when I first started playing guitar way back in the mid-1960s, I learned it like this. My dad taught me that way. I'm using fingers 2, 3, 4 all at the 2nd fret. That's also the way the great jazz guitarist Johnny Smith teaches it in his book. Many of you may have learned it with the 1st, 2nd, 3rd finger. And I remember about 1985 or 6, I'm working in Los Angeles, California for Silver Eagle, and we were selling Starlight videos to music stores across the country. And at that time, I remember watching an Albert Lee video, and he does this lick. And finishes off with the A chord with that 2-1-3 fingering, if you will. And I thought, well, that's an interesting way to play A. Why does he do that? End of 1986, my wife and daughter and I moved back to North Carolina. I started teaching full-time and started teaching, as many folks do, when they first begin a teaching business, with the Mel Bay Modern Guitar Method. Good old Uncle Mel. Mel Bay teaches it this way. And after a little bit of research and spending a little time thinking about it, I realized this probably is the most advantageous way to do that. Here's why. If I finger the chord like this, with my 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd finger, 4th string, 3rd finger, 2nd string, all together at the 2nd fret, kind of like the king pin and the 2 pins behind that on a bowling pin arrangement, I can play an A like this. I can slide the 1st finger back a fret, get an A major 7, take the 1st finger off entirely, get A dominant 7, add the pinky on the 2nd string, 3rd fret for an A sus chord, move the pinky down to the 1st string, 3rd fret, double the flatted 7, which is the G pitch in this case, for an A7. Move it back a fret, the 2nd fret, here's an A13 chord. Very cool sound. Move the 1st finger back a fret to the 1st fret, I got an A minor 7, and the 2nd finger has never moved from the 2nd fret. Those of you that have studied with me in person or through the pages of Guitar Made Simpler know that I teach finger per fret as one of the very first things that we do when we talk about your fretting hand. And so this chord fingering allows me to do a bunch of maneuvering around, and the 2nd finger never leaves. If I use the 1st finger, it's either tucked behind the larger 2nd and 3rd fingers, or it's at the 1st fret or not being used entirely. So regardless of how you currently finger it, I promise if you give this a real try in your own playing, I think that within a short period of time, you'll find this is the most efficient way to finger an A chord yourself. If you have any questions, you can contact me through our webpage, guitarmadesimpler.com. And until next time, I'm Riley Wilson.